Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Collecting History. And welcome back to Collecting History, as I said. And I hope you all had a good week. And hopefully, your weekend's going to be fun, filled with a lot of cool stuff. May try ourselves to go out tomorrow and see if there's any yard sales and maybe come across maybe some comic books or stuff comic book related. But tonight, I want to talk about a comic book that I just finished reading. I want to recommend. Hang tight. Okay, so a comic book that I want to recommend, and it's a comic book that I was looking up. I actually saw this on YouTube. Someone was talking about this particular comic book, and I was like, I gotta have this one. So I was looking it up. My wife also saw what I was doing. She kind of snuck around and got it for me before I could order it, and I got it a few days or so ago. And it's really a good comic book, and it's this one here. Don't want to get a lot of glare on it, but there you go, and it's Batman Dawn of DC. It's 135, number 900. And this book is a really, really good comic book. I really enjoyed reading everything. It was action packed from the beginning to the end. I'm not going to really give any spoilers away just in case you've not read it yet. But it's a different take on a Batman, a whole different kind of Batman, and uh, and he's taking on this a character here. It's called the Red Mask. And so Red Mask is pretty cool, uh, kind of familiar bad guy, but not. But anyway, you'd have to see the comic to read it and understand it. But man, this is one. I don't do any CGCs. I've never done that before. But if I ever decide to start doing this, would definitely be one of the ones I would get a CGC on. And like I said, I'm not going to give a lot of way on it, but that comic book is one because of a multiverse situation. I would definitely would want to have a slab on the wall, so to speak. I really believe that they've done a real good job on that comic book, and I really, really enjoyed reading it for sure. So, like I say, if you've not read it, go check it out. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss that copy. It's a good one. I'm sure you can find it just about any comic book store. Still fair enough. I think it was like 2023 or something like that, I believe. So it's not very old at all. And you can find it about anywhere. I've seen it on eBay, Amazon, I believe, too, as well. So, again, a high recommendation um, for that comic book, and I want you all to check it out. So another thing, I did a whatnot auction past couple days, and I've got some stuff coming, and I'll show you those when they get here. But I won two different auctions. One is a Spider-Man, one is a Batman. So when it gets here, I'll show you what they are, and I think you probably like me. You're gonna think it's pretty cool. So again, about that comic book is very, very good. But I do have a question for you. So I do have. I just brought one out as an older one. It's I believe it's 84, 1984. So my question to you is: do you like the newer, more digital look to a comic book, or do you prefer a more older, modern, or not modern, but older style instead of the modern style? And I was thinking about this yesterday. As a matter of fact, I was like, with these new comic books, they have the digital, it's all glossy, kind of like, and it's really, really good. As versus like the old stuff that's kind of grainy, but I tell you what, you can't beat the old stuff. And I love the fact that when you go back and read these, you just feel like you're a step back in time at that point. Um, but I don't know. Part of me would like to see them do comic books like this again, just the old style with the grainy look. The well, guess what I mean. Let me pull it out and show you what I'm talking about. A lot of y'all know what I'm talking about exactly, but like the old page styles like that. That's a good picture of Robin right there. Really like that. Ed McMahon's in this one too, by the way. It's kind of funny. But it's been a long time since I read this one, but I remember that Ed McMahon was in it when I saw it. Oh yeah, but I like the old style comic books, um, and I really like. And you got the old, advertisements back here and stuff too. uh, Master of the Universe there. But I just really like this stuff. I like the pages, how the pages were, that pretty. I don't know what you call it, but it's the older paper, and it just it's just tradition. So let me ask you this: so if you could run a comic book company, would you do the more digital, more glossy, clear looking comic books or whatever you call it, or would you go with the nostalgia look? Would this be the way you would sell your comic books? I really feel like that if comic books were like this, I think people would buy them just as much as they would the newer stuff. And I'm not one for digital, like online comic book stuff at all. I've read some before with you got the DC app and all that stuff. You could read digital form comics, and I want something that I can put in my hands and hold on to, and put away if I want to read it again later. Um, I'm just not one to. I don't care to read a ton of stuff online. I do enough of that when it comes to like your news or sports reports and things like that. But comic books, in my opinion, should be always like this in your hand at all times. And you just can't beat that. I mean, the heck with that digital stuff. And plus, there's no value in the online stuff. I mean, you can't trade. If you wanted to sell, this right here, I love watching. And I've been to a few Comic Cons, and I love going to those things and just seeing what people's got, not only just comic books, but I've got like posters on the wall and stuff. I've gotten some at Comic Cons and things like that. So you can't beat that. Um, so online digital, not for me whatsoever. Comment below if it's something for you or not. Just let me know how you feel about it. Um, but for me, not so much. I don't really care about. I want to be able to have that physical copy in hand and enjoy it. So I don't know. Got blurry. There we go. Teachers are on, obviously, but I guess I'm just old school. I mean, I grew up with not really comic books. I talked about this in my first video. I grew up with professional wrestling magazines. I got some too. I have to show you one day. That I won on eBay auction, but I grew up with that. I grew up with having paper in hand, and um, it just that's just how I prefer it. I prefer having it like that for sure. Good stuff. Good stuff. And but anyway, so that was a recommendation I wanted to do for you. That Batman again is a good one. I do recommend if you've not read this one, to please go check it out somewhere, buy it at your comic book store. I prefer you do that. I mean, we should always, do that. Support our local comic book stores. But wherever you can find it, get this copy. It's really, really good. I got a good friend of mine I've talked about before who runs a comic book store. And I've known him for 30 years when we worked at another job together. And so he was doing, me and him was working together years ago. And then he took over a comic book store, and he's happy with that for sure. And I'm always tickled to go in there and see him, see how they're doing. And he's got a good crew. I did miss Free Comic Book Day, but I wasn't uh, really able to go. And plus, um, it just if I miss it, I'm not too concerned about missing Free Comic Book Day. He does have a lot of good sales throughout the year, different times of the year. A lot of his back issues will be like, instead of $1.50, it'll be like half off or whatever. And so he does really good with his comic book. So I don't really worry about Free Comic Book Day too much. I've gone a few times, and so I still got them. I still got the ones that I've gotten before. And but I think I had some Green Hornet stickers or something he gave me too that came out on Free Comic Book Day, like I don't know, 5 or 6 years or more ago. It's been a while, and I got them in one of my boxes in here. But anyway, so yeah, let me know, comment what you think about that Batman book, the new one, and what I asked. Would you like the old traditional style comic books, or do you like the newer style look comic books? Everybody's to each his own. Everybody has a different opinion on it, but to me personally, I like the old way the comic books were written, or not written, but designed and stuff like that. Even well, the writing. they wrote good back then too. But not to say they don't write good now, but I just like the way it looks, it feels, the whole 9 yards of the comic book. But anyway, so that's all I got tonight, guys. I hope you have a good weekend. Have fun. I'm going to try to do a Comic Con in September, local one here in North Carolina, and I'm going to try to film it if I can. And if I come across anything at flea market, yard sale that's comic books or comic book related, I'll definitely show you on this channel. Until next time, God bless. We'll see you soon.